Welcome to part 4 of the Dharma Yoga website series. In part 3, we made this 3-column section, this 2-column section here, and then the 3-column section below. So in this video, what we'll do is work on the callout section that includes the text and the button, and then we'll conclude the HTML section of this entire tutorial with the footer tags. So you want to make sure that you have the index.html file we've been working on so we can get started on the callout section here, and then the entire footer including the icons and the Google map right here. Okay, so let's go back to our index.html file and get started with the page callout section. But first, let's do one more div class clear fix to create some separation before we add the callout. So just write div class clear fix and drop down a line to write your comment for the callout section. I'm just going to write start page callout and then close the comment, and then I'll add an end comment below called end page callout. Okay, and then inside of the page callout section, what we're going to do is create a little wrap area that we'll just call page callout. It's going to be a div class. So write div class page callout, page dash callout, and this will nest the text and button sections that has the border around it. Okay, and below you just want to write, we'll write a paragraph tag for this text, and then we'll style it later in the CSS to make it larger and bold. So just write p class, and this will be callout text so we can reference it in the CSS. And close the paragraph tag. And then we'll just add this text here. So looking for a class you don't see here, check out our classes page. So again, looking for a class you don't see here, check out our classes page. Okay, and then next we'll create a class for the button, or actually the area that surrounds the button that the button will be nested in. So we'll want to call that div class button dash holder. And then drop down and we'll add the button. So if you refresh, we have the text down here. Now let's add the button here. Most of the button is going to be done in CSS. Here we'll just make a link for it and give the link a class. So links, as you remember from the logo up top, are the A tag. So you want to write A class btn for button, and href. So this will be the reference link. This will be classes.html. Which we're not making in this tutorial, but that's in the full version of this website, so I thought I'd include it here. Okay, and then our classes, and close the link. And then below you'll see a link for our classes. So you can tell that's a hyperlink by the blue color and the underlined text. Okay, so we'll style that later. For now, let's drop down and start the HTML for the footer. So let's just create a comment saying start footer. And then close the footer section with end footer. Okay, so for our footer, similar to the header we added up top, we'll just write footer, which is an HTML5 tag. And inside of our footer will be the 1/3 sections just as above that we styled earlier, just like up here and up here. So we just want to write the div class for the 1/3 section. So write div class 1-3rd, and then you can drop down the closing div so we can nest all of our footer information for at least the first third of it in here. Okay, so let's start with the title up top, or the heading, which will be an H3 heading, and write contact us. Then below we'll add a paragraph, but first let's create a line break. So BR means break. That just creates a line break where there's a little space created. And then let's start the paragraph. So this paragraph, we're going to give a class for the footer contact information. So let's call this footer contact. And then up top we have the Dharma yoga text, and then we'll create a break after that to drop down to the phone number. So add BR for break, and then just drop down a line and let's add the phone information in the contact area. So we'll use a strong tag, which means bold, and we're going to give this a class of phone called phone. So the reason that we're giving this phone number a class is because later in the CSS we want to give it a style called text decoration none, and then add a color. So what that does is it takes away the hyperlink status of the blue text and the underline. Now on the web, on your computer, it's going to display the phone number just as bold text, but if we add it, or if we look at it on our cell phones, on the iPhone for example, it's going to look like a hyperlink rather than text if we don't style it in the CSS. Okay, so let's drop down now using another break tag. Let's add a few actually, since there's some space in the finished version here. So there's a few line breaks, and then we have the address. Okay, so let's start with the street address, 530 Street Road, and break to go to the next line. Solana Beach, California 92075. And break once more. And let's add the email address, which is yogi@dharma yoga.com. And then you can close the paragraph tag. And let's add another break below that paragraph tag just before we start the social media icons below. So we want to create a little space here. Okay, so one more break, and now let's get started with the social media icons. So these will display in an unordered list. Let's give the unordered list a class called social, and then drop down so we can add the list items inside of the unordered list. And inside of the list items, we'll have links and then the icons. So you want to write ahref, and then for now I'm just going to add the pound symbol. So normally you'd put a URL, say for your Facebook page or something like that, since the first icon is Facebook, but the pound sign will just keep it local. If we click on that link, it's not going to take us anywhere, but it will display as a link. Okay, so now let's add our icon similar to what we did in the first 3-column section using the italics tag, and we'll give that its class specific to the icon name with font awesome. So this is FAFA-Facebook for the first icon. So now we can refresh, and let's take a look at the first Facebook icon. So there it is, and as you can see, since it's in an unordered list and it's a list item, we have just a little dot there. But later in the CSS, we'll take that away and display them in line next to each other. So again, write li, and then inside of that, create your link with ahref. I'll keep it local again with a pound, and then let's add the icon class. So the second will be for Google+. That's just FAFA-Google-+. And refresh, and there's the Google+ icon. Okay, and again with the li, and within that the link, then the icon class. The third being FAFA-Twitter. And the fourth, open and close your list item, your link, and the italics tag. And then we'll give that its class for the YouTube icon, which is the last icon. So this is FAFA-YouTube. Okay, so now we have all 4 icons. And later we'll give it its color and all that fancy stuff in the CSS. So for now, let's drop down to the next 3-column section, or the next 1/3 section rather. So you want to write div class 1/3 and close it out. And inside of here we'll have the h3 tag once again for the heading. This one is our location, and then we'll add a break before we add the Google Maps information. So add a break, and then for our Google map, we'll want to nest the map within a div class. So the Google map itself will appear on the page through something called an iframe, which basically shows you the URL from another website live on your website. So that's typically going to be used for YouTube videos and Google Maps and stuff like that. So this div class we'll just call Google Maps, and then inside of that will be our iframe tag. So now what we'll want to do is go over to Google and just grab a URL for a map. So if you need to, just pause the video for a moment so you too can get to Google Maps, and then once you're there, go to the little menu icon in the upper left hand corner, select embed map or share link. So we just want to grab this link here for the iframe source from embed map. So go ahead and just copy that, and then we'll bring it back here to just all we really need is the link inside of it. We're going to adjust the size later. We don't need the width or the height or the border, anything like that. So go ahead and just paste that, grab the URL, paste it in here, and you can delete the rest of the information. So now if I save and refresh, I'll have my Google map in the HTML of the website. So here it is. Later, as I said, we'll change the size and such to get it to display like this. But for now, let's drop down and do the last 1/3 section of the footer. So we'll write div class 1/3 and then our h3 tag with our philosophy up top, followed by the paragraph tags that we'll add. So write h3 our philosophy, and then drop down and let's create a break before we add our first paragraph text. So break, and then add P for paragraph. And let's just take a second to type out the information that we have down here. So we at Dharma Yoga enjoy a philosophy that satisfies both. We at Dharma Yoga enjoy a philosophy that satisfies both. Let's see what. Both the most modern and ancient practicing of true dharmic yogis. We at Dharma Yoga enjoy a philosophy that satisfies both the most modern and ancient practices of, or practicing of, true dharmic yogis. And then let's add this little yoga quote down here. So this will be, wisdom, in quotations, is knowing we are all one. Love is what it feels like, and compassion is what it acts like. So wrap your head around that one. And then let's add 2 line breaks. And add this Ethan Walker III text. Okay, and refresh, and then here we have the text at the bottom in quotations. So that concludes the footer. Let's add our last little note down here with the copyright information for your website. So we just want to add that below the footer's end, and we'll nest that text in a paragraph tag. So write P and close it out. And then let's add the copyright symbol, which starts with ampersand, and then copy and semicolon, and then write Dharma Yoga, 2015. And then you can go ahead and save, and we'll refresh. And that includes the HTML for this entire tutorial. The rest of the tutorial will consist of all CSS styling. So we'll start with the main sections of the website, everything you see here, and then we'll go over to the media queries last in part 7, which will make the website look like this here for phones and iPads and such. So I will see you in part 5.